Welcome back to Harriet's Florida Kitchen. I'm Harriet, this is Florida. We're in my kitchen. Now, it's a great time of year around Tampa, Florida, because not only is it Gasparilla season, our big holiday, it is time for the Tampa Bay Bucks to head for the playoffs and wipe everybody else out on the way to Super Bowl. Now, the team can take care of all of that, but I have other work to do. And that is, what do you need in order to watch a football game? Well, you need your television, you need your computer, and you need snacks. You need game snacks. So I thought, all right, let's see what people want to eat besides what I want to eat necessarily. Thompson says, no, Mom, people are not going to search for your salted pecans. Made those yesterday. Once you have them, you're going to think you want to search for them too. No, they don't search for Madeleines. Okay, I understand that. They may not even search for fudge. Well, maybe they will search for fudge. And you know, Harriet's Florida Kitchen has a very good recipe for that. But I thought, well, let's look it up. So I looked up lists of what the top 10 searched for Super Bowl foods, snacks. And I thought, this is going to be so disgusting. These are going to be heart attacks in a dish, and I'm not going to like them. And I looked at them and I thought, actually, I love them. These are great. I really, really like them. But then I kept seeing things that said worst Super Bowl snacks. So I thought, that sounds great. I think I would like those, but what could they be? So I looked, and I don't know who writes this stuff. I think they must hire people who don't cook or don't eat or something, but one of the things they have is a link. I sort of printed this out. One of the things on one of these recipes, which was good and bad for you snacks, said appetizers to get your party started. Well, if you need appetizers to get your party started, you need cuter friends. That is not how you have a party. That's just part of the party. They got to be great. I looked, it said, party snacks you don't have to feel bad about the day after. I've never felt bad about a party snack in my life. But apparently people feel bad about buffalo wings. Well, I would feel bad about buffalo wings too, because I think they look hard and dry. I've never really had one I loved. And then they recommend the healthy version, which is baked boneless buffalo wings. What could be worse than regular buffalo wings than baked boneless ones? And in the recipe they used chicken breast, and you know how I feel about chicken breast. Nasty, so dry. Then, good for you, game day grub. Right off, don't like the word grub. It sounds kind of like a worm. So, bad, sour cream and onion dip. Bad? Anyone who grew up in the 50s and the 60s knows that the Coke parties we used to have, and I don't mean cocaine, I mean Coca-Cola. You had Coke parties had onion dip and potato chips, yum, which were paired with Krispy Kreme donut, not balls, Krispy Kreme donuts, holes, and Coca-Cola. Of course, it was really delicious. It was good then, it's good now. They recommend as a substitute, however, hummus. Now, I do like hummus, so that's okay. We're gonna go with that. That's fine. We're not making hummus today. Bad meatball subs. Better mini meatball sliders. Well, how stupid is that? Meatball subs are great, but meatball sliders are not a healthy option. You can eat more if you have them in slider form. Why would that be a healthy suggestion? Then we have spicy nacho cheese chips, yum, which they say maybe you should substitute with spicy edamame. Well, I'm an edamame girl any old day, but not in place of spicy nacho. Then bad French fries. Who writes this stuff? When are French fries bad? They suggest instead oven-baked fries. Well, that's just fine, but you know, it's not a substitute. I know it's not a substitute. Then batter fried shrimp, bad. Really? Have you ever had batter fried shrimp? It's terrific. Better spicy Creole shrimp skewers, fine, but I just don't think it's a substitute for fried shrimp, no. They talk about candy on this. I'm not even thinking that's a game day snack. Then bad fully loaded nachos. What Stalinist would write that? Better turkey chili. Okay, some days maybe if you're on your Weight Watchers, but no, not for a game. Last one, bad crab cakes. Really? One of the great delicacies of our time in exchange for a shrimp cocktail. Okay, that's great if it's 1957. I don't think that's going to do it. But one of the ones that they do mention, sadly, they call the classic 7-layered dip the unhealthy option, and the light 7-layer dip the healthy option. Well, perish the thought that I would ever have something healthy on Harriet's Florida Kitchen. But actually, that is my go-to dip, so we're gonna make that today. And don't think of it, it doesn't have kale in it, so it's not that healthy. It's really good and you'll like it a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna use, first of all, I'm using Ina Garten's fabulous guacamole recipe. You cannot beat it. And you'll see that she doesn't turn it into pap. She doesn't turn it into baby food. It's very nice. The texture is great. And then I'm going to show you what I layer on my layered taco dip, and it is terrific, and you will want to use it for your game. And don't even think about the fact that you might not get fat eating it. Actually, I think you can get plenty fat. Don't worry about that. It'll be great. Okay, I'll get started now. Whoa, I forgot to tell you. Going through all that list, I got so carried away. I wanted to say, if there's something on there that you do want me to make, send a comment. I will respond. I have a friend in Singapore who wants me to make cheesecake. I'm working on that. That's coming up next. So let me know if there's something that you want to make. And also, housekeeping, I forgot. I got reprimanded by Thompson. So on the underneath is a little arrow, and you can click on that to get to the recipe. But also, you can click on subscribe, and you'll be able to click on a little bell, and it'll tell you every time there's a new fabulous Harriet's Florida Kitchen up again. Okay, I knew I'd forgotten something. First thing to do is get started on the guacamole. Now, when you cut the avocados in half, then do not use a knife to stab the seed, which some people think is a great idea, but it can certainly end you up in the emergency room really fast. Just cut them open, and then scoop out the inside, scoop out the seed with a big spoon. That'll really be sufficient. And just make sure that you get all of the stuff out. It'll be super simple. Be sure also that they are ripe enough. You can tell by if they give just a little bit of give, then you'll know that they're ripe enough. If they're hard, don't do it. Don't even try, because they'll be too hard for you they won't taste very good, and they'll also be too hard to kind of mash and cut up for the guacamole. So get all of the seeds out and put them into the bowl, and then add 3 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and then 8 dashes of Tabasco sauce, and 1/2 cup small diced red onion, 1 large garlic clove, minced. You know, I have this clever little thing to mince things with. Looks like a little baby carriage. A teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 teaspoon of grated black pepper. Throw in at the end, one medium tomato, seeded and small diced. Now, if you're really using a tomato, I really don't even peel my tomatoes for this, and I don't seed them. I just chop them up. But in this case, I went the really easy route, and I got my tomatoes and my onions already chopped from the grocery store. So it made life so easy. Then the next thing you do is you use a sharp knife, and I use 2 sharp knives. You slice through the avocados in the bowl until they're finely diced, and I do that I do that after I add the tomatoes, but you can do it before you add the tomatoes and then throw the tomatoes in. I don't find that it screws up the tomatoes too badly. It's okay. You mix well, and then you want to taste it for salt and pepper, but I pretty much find that this is just about perfect the way that Ina Garten has done it. Now, you're going to want to put the guacamole away while you kind of get everything else ready and lined up for doing your layers. So what you do is you put one of the seeds into the top of it, and then you put some saran wrap or cling wrap on top of that, and you mash it around so that it's tightly against the guacamole. Doesn't have to be very attractive because it's not going anywhere. Now, I don't know why the seed keeps it. I know that the saran wrap keeps it from getting to the air, so that keeps it from discoloring, but the seed helps too. I don't know why, but it does work. Now, you line up your other things. So I use about a cup or a cup and a half, maybe even up to 2 cups if you want to, of sour cream. Sometimes I use low-fat sour cream. Sometimes I use full-fat sour cream. Sometimes I combine the two. Doesn't really matter. Then I add a package of taco flavoring to that. I start out with about half of the package and mix it in, kind of do it to taste, and mix it really well. You don't have to worry about folding it or anything like that. And then I add the rest of the package if I think it needs it, and usually it does, because it just gives you that much more flavor, makes it that much more wonderful and delicious. Oh, now you're ready to spread everything out. You get the guacamole, and you put. Now I'm making it I'm making it for us and also for a friend, but usually you can just put the whole thing in one giant fabulous layered dip. So I usually like to use the guacamole on the bottom, and notice it's still nice and chunky. It has not been pureed within an inch of its life. So I spread out the guacamole, and I use one spatula for doing that so that they don't get messy, because you're going to have to spread the sour cream on top of that. So you make this thin, make it pretty thin, because you're going to have a lot of things on this by the time you're through. So it doesn't have to be generous. That bottom, none of the layers have to be all that generous, because by the time it's all added up, it's going to be a pretty hefty bite. After you spread the guacamole out, you then take another spatula and you start to spread the sour cream taco mixture on top of it. Use a separate spatula so that you don't, I just think it keeps it cleaner looking. You can use whatever you want, but if you have a different spatula for each one, just the way you do a paintbrush, I think it'll be smoother. It won't kind of get mucked up. So as soon as you get the sour cream on, you're going to throw on the other ingredients, and this is the most fun. You start throwing on the tomatoes. Now I used what would be the equivalent. I used a container from the grocery store to make it easier, but really you would use, this is about two small tomatoes or one large tomato. You probably need to do these, if you're going to do them yourself, you probably need to drain them a little bit, maybe take the seeds out. I don't care. You can do it with or without the peelings. I don't care. I think it's good either way. And you know what? Winter tomatoes are not so horrible because they hold together really well, even though they're not as tasty as summer tomatoes. Still going to be fine. So then you're going to throw cheese on it. Now I like to use sharp cheddar cheese. I do use the grocery store prepared. You're welcome to shred your own. I use the small shreds because I think that it makes a better bite-sized dish. So you spread that all around, toss it around as much as you want. Again, remember, by the time you get this on, it makes a pretty big bite. And then you chop up a bunch of spring onions. You throw the spring onions on top of the whole concoction. And then finally, you're going to put on the olives. Last, you add the olives. Now, I don't even know if this part's going to make the video because Thompson does not like olives, and his prejudice may be a problem, but I think the olives make the rest of the colors pop. I think it looks great. And if people don't like olives, they can always kind of eat around them, or they can throw them on the side. They're not so tiny that they can't be picked off, but they are really good, and they do improve the dish no end. All right, and that's all you have to do. Okay. Give it a try. Now, looks great, does it not? Beautiful party food. But now let's see. Let's try it. Now, the first thing I'm going to try, and I have kind of an unwieldy kitchen, so I have to hold this. The first thing is to try the guacamole because I know it's going to be amazing. Garten is just the most reliable cookbook writer in the world, and that is just amazing guacamole. So I'll have a little bit more from around the edge, but now for the whole thing. Okay. Oh, wait. This isn't working out. Hold on. So I'm gonna have a big piece of this. Now, I don't put meat in mine, and I don't like beans, so there are no beans either. My husband came in and he said, well, what's in that? I told him. So this is guacamole, sour cream, taco flavoring, cheese, tomatoes, onions, olives. He said, where's the meat? So we're gonna put a little meat on ours, which I'm gonna also flavor with some more taco flavoring. But the reason I don't put the meat on for parties is because there usually are 1,000 other proteins and meats, buffalo wings, and this just makes it lighter on your chip, and the flavor is fabulous. Now we'll find out. Let's find out how fabulous it is. Oh, great! If you had the hamburger meat on it, it would fall all over you. Now, these wonderful chips have changed people's lives. They're so great. These things that are like little cups. But all the same, even with hamburger meat, it makes it too full. So, okay, I will now have a lot more of this, and I hope I have enough to last till the actual football game. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, please. The more subscriptions I have, well, eventually, if you get to like 1,000, then they'll pay you to put ads on. Anyway, right now they run the ads and they don't pay. They don't pay unless you have 1,000. So please do watch, please do subscribe, and go Bucks. Bye.